been hearing about budget. Budget is something that's always there. Everybody talks about budget, but sometimes we don't really know the right way of doing a budget. So budget is something that you think what you're going to spend. So this is, we always encourage people, the moment you get your income, if there are other income, you will add on in. And the first thing that you do is minus off for saving. You try to save before you spend. Maybe some of us may have problem here right now because of insufficient amount of income, but still at least do the saving. It doesn't matter how much it is, but it must be consistent. Even a ringgit a day is considered a saving. So these savings are the ones that can help us during emergency time. COVID-19 was a clear example of an emergency time. And for those who lost their income, it was an issue during that time. And why we say this savings is so important is to help us during this kind of situation. We do not know when it may come back, when, how long it will prolong to. So we have to be, how do we say now? We have to be like a minimalist right now. We have to like try to minimize most of our expenses and try to focus a lot towards saving. At least a certain amount every month that we can do or daily. Yeah? And then we go by fixed expenses. So we list down all those loans that we need to pay. I'll talk about the moratorium later when it comes, yeah. But these are practically the loans and commitments that we have every month. And then we have our variable expenses. So we list them out, and then this is the balance, yeah. So this is what we call a budget. But a budget not necessarily translates into what we actually do. Many of us don't really do what we think we want to do. The simple thing, a simple example would be a diet. Yeah, how many of us told ourselves that during MCO I'm going to lose weight, but actually many of us ended up eating more. So sometimes we don't really listen to ourselves too. Yeah, so in this way, a budget will not work if you don't if you don't record them down. Yeah, so that's when we talk about, when you have a budget, you need to compare against what you actually do. So there are a lot of applications now with your phone. You can actually download apps to track your expenses. Sorry. So daily now, since we're not going to spend, I mean, most of us are not spending daily. Uh, our spendings daily may be very minimum, but it's a good time to start the habit. So start tracking. And once you track, you actually compare against what you have budgeted. So now you really know what you actually spend against what you thought you would. And this is where we normally make mistakes, because we normally think we will spend lesser, but in actual fact we spend more. So we need to identify this gap and see what we need to do to reduce them, how we can actually focus to reduce that. So that comes up to the next thing of tracking and reducing. So we really need to know where to reduce. Yeah. As I mentioned, these are the times that you may want to postpone big purchases. Yeah, unless you're very stable. You mean if you are thinking about a big purchase like buying a car, buying a house, yeah, though everything is low now, including the BR rates. But if you're really stable, income is there continuously, it's not an issue, you don't foresee a problem, then go ahead. But if you have the doubts, then postpone all these things, because you don't want to get yourself into bigger commitments now. Recently, there was a research today that I read. They say only 70% of Malaysians can only last 4 months financially. If this issue was to prolong, we can only last for about 4 months with the current amount that we have. So we do not know. We hope for better days and brighter days ahead soon, but we have to be very careful. So big purchases, big plans may be postponed now, it's better, and try to focus on what actually your need right now. And also know your debts, yeah, because this is the time where the banks have given moratorium, though there was a yes and a no and then a yes back. Okay, so this was the initial thing on hire purchase. I also had to do an interview again and again and again to explain. When hire purchase, there's no difference, luckily. Yeah. So whatever you take before and after, it's going to be the same that you're going to pay. It's just that you will have an extension of 6 months. Yeah. So you will pay longer. But for housing loan, there is still a difference. The interest is not compounded, but interest is calculated on your principal. So that's there. I'm sure by now most of your banks would have contacted you all. Please ensure you understand what is how much you're going to pay later and see if you can really afford that. This is an assumption that there's no extension of tenure. So he still wants to settle the loan within 35 years. So therefore, after deferment, there is an additional amount. So this is for housing loan. But if, for example, he extends the tenure, then there will not be an increase, but there will be an extended number of months, and definitely you will be paying more. You will be paying more than the original amount because interest is still ongoing. It is just not compounded. Yeah, so don't misunderstand this fact too. So if I want to take the moratorium, why should I take the moratorium? Yeah. So we say that for those people who are on a salary reduction or no income at all, there's insufficient funds to even cover your need, then definitely this moratorium will be helpful, because you will have this amount that you are supposed to pay all your loans to actually help you support your needs. Yeah. But for those who are also thinking of actually savings for emergencies. I mean, like I mentioned, maybe before this, never saved before. So use this amount, like say you're supposed to pay a higher purchase, 800 a month. Take that money and save it for emergency. Yeah, be very clear about what is emergency here. The Raya is coming. It's not emergency. Yeah? We know Raya is coming when, so we are not to use this money for our wants actually, because this is in fact a money that you got to pay later also. Yeah, so if you can afford, continue to pay, but if you need to do these things, then maybe you may want to think to use the moratorium. Yeah, or you want to settle higher cost loans like credit cards, because credit cards is 18% per annum. Yeah, and credit cards are not getting the automatic moratorium, but you can discuss with your bank to actually convert them to a term loan, and then they'll give you a lower interest, but it's still high. So you may want to use that amount to settle your credit card loans. Yeah, so you can actually settle off some of your loans and have lower commitments. So plan well. So if you really want to use the EPF funds, the savings, so what are you going to use this amount for? So plan it well, because these are still your money. Yeah, it's not something that they're giving to you. It's your money that you're going to use. Yeah, so think well and make good decisions. Some people also ask me, should I invest this money? I have this 800 here, I can take up 6 months, then maybe I want to start an investment. Yeah, investments are there, but definitely before you even think about investing, markets are not that good. The worst is yet to come, as per our discussion with many market researchers. And if you have sufficient amount for your need, you have sufficient savings already, and you have the knowledge about investment, then please go ahead. It's a good way too, because you're paying lower interest here, so you're taking off that money and you're investing to earn more. So your knowledge is there. You know about share markets, you know about stock markets, but don't expect immediate returns. You must have the holding power, meaning to say that you're not expecting a return in a short term. Yeah, you're not expecting return in a short term, then it's okay. Yeah. So be very careful. If no, invest in knowledge, because the financial knowledge is very important. Use this time. You can follow our Facebook page, follow our Insta page, follow some of these gurus, well-known gurus, well-known websites here. So these are the times that we can actually invest a lot in the knowledge on investments. Yeah, before we even start. Even if you go to Bursa's website, there are these classes, online classes that they have, videos that they have. You want to learn about Bitcoin, you want to learn about cryptocurrencies. What are those? I mean, Bitcoin is an example only, yeah? But what is cryptocurrencies? What is peer-to-peer fundings? What are crowdfunding? Because these are all the future of investments and currently is there. But what are these? So maybe this is a really, really good time to invest in the knowledge for that. Yeah. Please do know what you're investing about, because there are just too many scams out there. I've always shared with the group. It's so sad that even during these times, the number of scams are increasing. The scammers are also very active, just as much they also are looking for money. Yeah, so the calls, the Macau scam calls, I just want to share this one video, but do let me know if you can't see it.
我失去了一切。It all began with a phone call from a bank officer. 我说我不曾在他们那里开过任何的 account. Then she insists to transfer the call to Inspector Osman because 我的名字已经被人用来 to open an account with suspected illegal activities. 我当时好害怕咯。So I just follow the instruction 咯。那个 inspector confirm 我的 account was linked to a drug mob.
There are 7 arrest warrants out on you. You know you can get 25 years in jail.
之后就叫我 transfer 15万 ringgit to clear the first 2 warrants. 我怕以后会影响到我的生活和家人，尤其是我的个人声誉。So I kept on transferring more and more money so the police can clear everything. In total, 我转账了差不多150万哦。But I found out they used me. 根本都没有什么 criminal activity. It was all a scam.
Beware, be aware. If you receive a call from a bank that you do not have an account with, hang up and verify with that bank personally. Government agencies and the authorities do not settle outstanding payment over the phone.
So that is one. Did you all manage to see the video, right? Yeah, okay, good. So that is one scam that is so how do I say, rampant now. They come in various ways, as police officers, as immigration officers, as bank negara officers, and the amount that you see this lady is a true story. They just changed the character, but the amount is correct. So can you see such a huge amount gone? So this is something that we want all of you to be very careful. Remember, authorities don't just call like that. So don't transfer amount over the net just like that. Do check with the call up back the authorities, check back, is this really true or not? Yeah, every day there's still cases of this. Every day, I'm not joking. Yeah, so every day there are still cases of this ongoing. So please be very, very careful. Moving on to the next. So this is the financial fraud alert, BNM. Any company there, if you go to BNM's financial fraud alert, you go to their website, you look for financial fraud alert, there is a listing of close to about 300 companies that are already blacklisted. So check through this listing to see if somebody approached you to invest in this company. Especially now during this time, we are all looking for opportunities. We are trying to make some money from home. We are trying to find ways. So these are the time that they are also very active. Yeah. So do check whether this company has been listed here or not there. Go to Securities Commission as well if you're thinking of investment. See whether the company's got license or not from Security Commission. In fact, this work from home, putting in money, putting in letters in envelope. These are all old ones, but now they go on digital content, mailing this. Any work from home that actually asks us to pay a deposit, that's something that you've got to be very, very careful of. Yeah, because normally it doesn't work that way. So be very careful of that thing. Yeah. So how do you feel now? Are you like really, really stressed now? Okay, doing good. Everybody? Yeah, right. I know my time is running out. I'm also ending the topic already. It's just that everybody, yeah, we do feel stressed during this time, but we've got to walk through it. So we have met some psychiatrists and we talked to them and they came up with this 4T way. Yeah. So 4T way is first, let's take a break. Yeah. Because to think about finances and stuff makes us very stressful. So when we want to start something new, we want to look at things better. So let's take a break from everything, find a nice place. And of course, you know that take a deep, long breath always works, therapeutic breathing. These doctors came up with this 5 senses way of of breathing, where your first breath, you actually notice what you see, then what you touch on your fourth, fifth, on your third is what you hear, then on the second is what you smell and taste. So you kind of like activate all these senses, take deep breaths, yeah, and be very thankful about whatever you have now. Even being here, being able to listen, for me, being able to speak to you all, I'm very grateful. So we are very grateful to even be sitting in our comfort of, at the comfort of our house now. Everything is here, you know, so be grateful with whatever we have. The more grateful we are, the more things we are open to, yeah, and appreciate this calm moment, emotions. And now you start looking at your finances. Yeah? So start writing them down, telling yourself every time there's a way to eat, there's always that part there's always that journey there for you, right? And AKPK, we are, as I mentioned, we are not open to walk-in customers, but we are still working from home. So for those who need our assistance in terms of payment-wise, to negotiate with the bankers still to join our program, you can actually use this link to click in. You can actually scan this code to go in and you will fill out a Google form and our counselors will call you back. Yeah, they will call you. Remember, remember our services are free of charge. Please do not pay anybody, yeah, except for paying the bank, because we do not charge any kind of commission to the client. Why I have to tell you this? Because there are some people.
Sorry, Nirmala. Can someone please, can you all please mute yourself? I've muted. Yes, please. Can you all please mute yourself? Yeah, thank you. Sorry
I heard
about
a
that,
kid's
Nirmala.
voice. No problem. Yeah. Okay. So we please bear in mind because there is this group of people who say they are doing the restructuring from us and they are taking a commission. Please, we do not charge anything. It's already difficult to pay loans. Why would you want to pay commission? Yeah. Everything's quite simple. You apply to us. Our counselor call you. Then you make the payment direct to the bank, and the payment is all for the bank. No payment for us. Yeah. So 7 steps to attract your wealth. Yeah. Believe you're always worthy of happiness. Wake up with a smile. Go to bed with a smile. Yeah. Focus on what you have right now. Appreciate everything is good. Yeah. Be positive. Even bills come, be happy. Look, I have the money to pay the bills. Yeah. So first, jealousies. Please do not compare yourself. Now all of us are watching social media. Oh, why she wow, they got good food. Wow, look at the husband or the spouse helping a lot. Mine not helping. Just forget about it. Look at good things. If you can, use your social media to learn things every day. Subscribe to learn things. So I'm very happy all of y'all came in here today too. I hope you have learned something today. And respect the power of money. Always organize your wallet. Study well, invest in knowledge, like our page, AKPK, like Security Commission, like Bank Negara's page, like quite a good of some good bloggers around, Mr. Stingy, Suraya Kamarudin. There are a lot of well-known bloggers, iMoney page. They give you good articles. So you've got to keep learning. And at the end, please give money away. I mean, not in terms of money, but charity is something very important. If you can't even afford to give money, it's okay. You can actually give your knowledge, your help, your assistance. Not everything needs to be monetary, but the thing of giving things away actually bring more things to us. So we always believe when it comes to money, it's about I earn, manage, save, and give. Yeah, and it's not how much you earn, but how well you manage that. So let's begin that now, and let's look for a brighter day. So I think I've run out of time. Yeah. So if there's any questions?
Thank you very much, Nirmala. I think that was very useful. Now I would like to open for some questions. Anyone has any questions? I'm sure you'll be having questions now. Do you mind showing yourselves up? Because immediately after the questions, we'll be snapping a photograph. Yeah. Can we get some questions, anybody? Maybe I'd like to start, Nirmala.
Yeah.
Just to reconfirm, the moratorium that is given, basically whatever amount for the 6 months will be included into our payment after that, or is it just like frozen, free, going to be?
It will be included in your payment after that. So that means like for hire purchase, 6 months you're not paying, so there'll be an extended 6 months to make the payment. So let's say every month is 1,000 ringgit, so there'll be an extension. Then you'll be probably, if let's say they're finishing the loan January 2020, so now they're not going to finish in January 2021, sorry. So they'll be finishing in May 2021. So there'll be an additional month. That's for hire purchase, quite straightforward. But for housing loan, there's a slight difference in it. The monthly payment, 1,000 ringgit, yeah, they'll freeze, but there will be interest calculated on the balance. So every month there'll be an additional interest calculated on the principal amount as of March. So they take March as of the principal amount. So there will be additional amount there. What I understand from most banks, they give two options.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Excuse me. They said no additional because I'm under property. Just a few days back, they said no additional.
If your bank says that, then yes, but please listen, check out with your bank, because they said no compounding, but interest is still there. So do check up with your bank. There's also a difference on house under progress, under where you pay the progressive interest. Yeah. So that also I understand that's not going to be additional cost, but they expect you to settle the full amount before when the project completes and you're starting off with your installment. So they expect the full amount. So every bank has got their own FAQs. Please do check with your banks. Yeah, if your bank says there's no additional interest, then very happy for you. Yeah, so do check with your banks and see exactly how much you've got to pay this thing, because Bank Negara says that their guideline says that there can be additional charges. So it's entirely now up to the bank in terms of how they are managing it. But for hire purchase, it's clearly mentioned that there's no additional charges because the minister has announced it. So we can be very clear about that.
There's a question from Mohan. He's asking, is that different banks apply different rules?
Yes. In the way that they are going to implement it, there could be a difference. So please do communicate with your bank. If you go to their website now, most of the banks have the FAQ on the moratorium. So you have, and remember your hire purchase, you need to communicate with them because it still comes under the Hire Purchase Act. So if you are taking the moratorium, you need to confirm with them because it comes under the Act. Yeah? So if you don't confirm with them, then they will expect you to pay. And if there is no payment, then of course the late charges will come in. So you've got to make sure you communicate with them.
Can any financial institution refuse the moratorium, saying that
they can't.
We are not. Every financial institution has to.
Yes, every financial institution. It's just that, like how Puan Naziha mentioned on the properties. So that's something that we need to double check with, because the gray area is still there. Some says, in fact, when they say not compounding, everybody thought there's no interest, but compounding means there is interest. Not compounding, there is interest, just not compounded. Yeah, and then it works differently for Islamic financing and conventional financing as well. So we talk about profit accrue and that, but there is no way the bank can say there is no moratorium. Moratorium is given. Yeah. So it has to be there. It's just that we have to be very clear about the amount that we are going to pay after the moratorium. In fact, they have also mentioned for those who are really affected by COVID-19 in terms of income, if you do need an extension of the moratorium, you do need to speak, yes, you can negotiate with your financer. That's also been informed. So this is for industries that are really affected by COVID-19.
Okay. Sorry, there's another question here from HP. It's written here as HP, okay. Saving money is a very defensive approach for wealth creation. Can you please suggest an offensive approach to create additional income? The masses have very poor financial intelligence. Would you be able to comment on that?
Of course, in terms of wealth creation, savings actually is a matter of a transactional this thing, you would say that. But currently, during this current situation, is we are looking at emergencies more. We are looking at sustainability more rather than wealth creation, because it has affected a lot of people in many ways. That's why I say for those who had actually are strong financially, this is actually a very good time to create their wealth in terms of buying properties, in terms of investing in low stock, which they know will be, they can predict, they have the holding power. So it's actually, that's the time. But what we have found that many Malaysians, we do not fall in this category yet. Yeah, many are still struggling on sustainability. So now we want to focus on sustainability. So hence why we tell, please try to save up more. But of course, I would not recommend putting your money in savings account, because savings account will not help you beat inflation. It will not help you grow further. It's actually just a transactional account. So maybe FD you could start off something with, yeah, much more safer. And if you are well versed, yeah, that's why I say it's a good time to actually listen to talks by Security Commission, listen to talks about Bursa, listen to talks by some of the gurus in investment, but don't fall into the ones that say that, hey, come listen to me, in one day you'll be a millionaire or something like that. Yeah, too good. I mean, too fast returns are really too good to be true, I would say. Yeah.
In line with that particular comment, there's one question from Wong Lip Wong. How about people investing in internet marketing to get passive income? I think this.
Yeah, internet marketing in terms of you selling online, right? This is something that I think most of us should go into, trying to sell something.
Exactly. I'm into this one.
Internet purchase have really gone up. We saw the recent stats. Yeah, interesting to see some items went up by 880%. It's not 100%, it's like 880%, 900% in terms of amount. But like what I say, before you even go into that, learn first. There are a lot of interesting courses from, well-known groups also, because it's just not, many people fail when we don't really plan. We thought everybody is making money, I also can make money, and then just go in, yeah. But actually, there is a way how you sell. How you write this thing, how you follow up with your clients, very importantly. When your clients ask, how fast you answer. I mean, as a client ourselves, when we see how fast they respond, that gives us confidence to purchase, right? And also please check with PDRM, they got this website to check on the account before you do any purchase. Yeah, there are some blacklisted accounts as well, so be careful. So yes, actually, if you ask me now, you must diversify your income. We have learned a lesson already.
Yeah.
If you depend on one sort of income, not going to help you when the industry fails now.
In fact, can I add,
so please diversify your income. It's very important. We have to find ways, especially when I do check with what is this? Service-based industries, yeah, where hair salons, service-based industries were actually badly hit because you are supposed to be there, right? And you're not able to be there now, right? So we have to see what's the alternatives. So if you're in a service-based industry by now, you should have figured out an alternative, because it's going to be like this maybe for another year and a half. So you have to diversify to see what other things I can do. I did see a question asking me.
Sorry, Nirmala. Yeah. Sorry, Nirmala. You were saying to check with the PDRM.
Yes,
how
I
do,
did see
how
your
do we
question.
go about it? Where, how make the link? How do you go about to check that?
I'm opening up because we did an infographic on that today. Okay, the website is called CCID Semak New Portal. Let me type it here.
Yeah.
CCID. CCID Semak New Portal. So that is the portal that we could actually check. If somebody, you want to buy from somebody and they give you the account number, you could actually check on that account number if it's a mule account or it really exists or not. It has, because the PDRM has, I mean, it really exists, but PDRM has this record to say whether they are actually kind of like a blacklisted account or not. So we can be at least precautious about that, yeah, on online. But actually, if you ask me, I'm also trying to learn on internet marketing. We are all learning, so I think it's something that we all have to look at, see how we can actually increase our income. We have to focus
I can recruit you.
Thanks. You can have to look at cash inflow rather than cash outflow now. So focus on the inflow. Wealth creation is important, but for those who don't have are not able to sustain yet, focus on your sustainability, save for emergency first. But every extra money that we try to learn more, see how we can focus on our wealth creation. Yeah. So obviously, I agree the earlier question to say that our knowledge is actually very we tend not to understand things deep. We just see on the surface, we follow, and then we quickly want to jump into it because we're all looking for fast returns. So if there are a lot of financial advisors around, yeah, please go for the licensed financial advisors. Understand what they're trying to say. Put your target in. Actually, tell them that, look, by end of this year, I want to see this much amount. So what can I do? Don't go and let them put the target for you. You should have this target drawn up. Okay, by this year, I want to see this much of savings and that. Then tell them to work goals for you, because you must know where you want to go. Then people can assist you how to go there. If you don't know where you want to go, then that's the problem. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Nirmala. Now there's one more question here that's from Juliana James. When we consolidate credit card debts with AKPK, will our credit cards be blocked?
All right. When you come to AKPK and consolidate the credit cards, definitely all credit cards are not blocked, they are terminated. They're terminated and converted to a term loan. So when it's terminated and converted to a term loan, it becomes totally, because we have to stretch your years now and reduce the interest. So it cannot be used as a credit card anymore. Yeah. And we don't, one more reason, the other reason why we do that is because we don't want this person to keep accumulating debts. Because credit card is very simple. The moment we see an extra balance there, we tend to accumulate debt. So we don't want to keep accumulating debt. So credit cards are definitely a go. We will terminate. We will request the bank to terminate. except if it's a corporate card. So some people, they have a corporate card, they have individual card. So corporate card is by the company, so we don't touch that. Yeah, it's the the personal cards, personal loans. Yeah, only of housing loan and hire purchase, we leave it to the client to continue to pay if they can. We don't touch. Yeah, but if they can't, then we see what we can do to help them.
Okay, there's another one more question here, and that one is basically from Venu, I think. Yeah, at this critical moment, what is the best option for investment and in which area? The question is from Venu. Yeah, wow, so many people here wanting to invest.
If you know the share market, you will see some good ones to buy, and prices are pretty distinct there now. In fact, if you have the power to hold, I mean the holding power, you're not expecting fast returns. It's a good time to buy now, but you must understand that if no, properties are also going down in price, but you don't expect a high return. I mean, you don't expect a return fast. So any kind of investments now are not for a quick return. Yeah, it's a long term. You can wait. Yeah? So people who have money now are buying shares, companies, buying shares of properties also. Yeah, but it's a lot of factors that we've got to consider first also. So try reading up share market I mean Bursa's website. I mean they don't predict lah, but if you read like Mr. Stingy's blog, Aaron, there's this Warren, Mark Warren from Malaysia. Yeah, so they write a lot of articles in blogs. So like reading books, it's good, but we may not be in current situation. So that's why I kind of like prefer to read blogs and read opinions of markets, of brokers, about investors, rather than, I mean, books are teaching us the theory and the goals and to draft it, but blogs are giving us the current situation now. What is the current situation now? So that's something that we want to, because this is a global issue, not Malaysian issue, it's a global issue. So we've got to be very careful with where we are going. It's a very unstable thing. So most investors have gains on putting big money anywhere, but unless you really have the power, they are more towards holding cash actually.
Right. Okay, I will
good time to start. Sorry, yeah, good time. Sorry. Yeah, good time to invest in the knowledge actually. Yeah, keep the money if you're not sure.
And one final question, anybody? You can just unmute yourself and ask. Any one final question? If none, I think by the way you all were asking a lot of questions, I'm very sure that this was very, very valuable. Nirmala, thank you so much. I think it was a wonderful session. I think she has also given us, I've also typed in the CCID SEMA View portal for you to go in and check. Okay, so thank you so much. Now, before I conclude the session, I would like to just let you all know that this coming Wednesday, we are having another interesting topic. That is, the title is a little bit dramatic too, you know, handling dramatic millennial personality. Okay, that is going to be done by Khairul Mazlan. In fact, he's here as well today. It's going to be a very interesting topic. Khairul, I think he's there. All right, and then on this Friday, I'm going to do a topic that's on negotiation. Sometimes when you go to negotiation, you don't even realize people are using some techniques on you, and they just catch you off guard, and then you just give in. So I'm going to share about some of those real scenarios which happen then. Okay. Now, next week I will announce the topics later. This particular today's session, the recording, I will be posting into the Telegram group. So if any of you are not in the Telegram group, feel free to just click the link and go in. I think it's already in the WhatsApp that I've sent to you. And I would like to request a final request from you all. I've enclosed here our Facebook. Please like our ACE Business Services Facebook and give us your reviews as well on the trainings that we're doing. Feel free. Thank you so much. Khairul, you want to say anything about your topic? A quick preview about your topic, a 1 minute pitch about your topic next on Wednesday?
It's interesting if you are having issue with personalities and how people changes. It can be used in your office, workplace, and also how to handle your spouse. So I hope I can.
Millennial spouse lah. Millennial
Yeah.
spouse.
I hope I have enough time to chunk it in within that 30 minutes given.
Thank you. These are all little previews and little techniques. Huh? So thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I wish you a good day. I'll see you again on Wednesday. Once again, Nirmala, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Wait 1 minute. Can you all please show yourself? I want to take a print screen of all of ourselves. Oh, now we're only left with 18 of us here. Yeah, can we just take a photograph? Yes. Wow, everywhere also selfie is a must, man. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got it. And I need more people coming up. No. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. See you. Bye. Bye. Keep in touch. Don't forget the reviews. Thank you. Hi, Juliana. How are you? Bye. See you.
Thank you, Dr. Maria.
Most welcome.